Hello, friends. Welcome back to Sunday Whispers. Today's episode is entitled Whisper of the Armor of God, Belt of Truth, written by Rod Lee. Our Bible whisper is taken from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 14, and it says, "Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth." If you are aware, the avowed enemies of biblical Christianity are becoming emboldened more than ever before. There is a new phenomenon that many Christians and churches are facing today, such as same-sex marriage. It has reached at a national level in the U.S. and continues to spread worldwide. Well, we know that the spiritual forces that are worked behind these individuals and activists are not new at all. It is as old as sin itself. It is deeply entrenched in our human nature as it was sin that led humanity into downfall. Romans chapter 5 verse 12. Many believers have been lulled into a kind of spiritual ignorance in our day and continue to fall prey into the enemy's stratagem. In John chapter 8 verse 44, Jesus Christ calls Satan the father of lies, for deception is one of his oldest tactics. Together with his minions of co-deceivers, he attempts to deceive, confuse, and blind us, or to keep us in a state of ignorance and persuade us to trust experience, or emotion, or common sense, or human philosophy, or logical reasoning, and the like, instead of what God says in His Word. We can only see through Satan's lie by holding them against the truth of the Bible. This is necessary to fight the good fight of faith. 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 12. The Bible tells us that we should walk in the Spirit. Galatians chapter 5 verse 16, so as not to fulfill the desires of the flesh. But we also need protection against the direct assaults of our enemy. That is why Paul mentions in Ephesians 6 several weapons that we must use, both defensive and offensive, in order to win this spiritual warfare. You may have noticed that our mind, like a battlefield, is where most of this spiritual war is fought. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 44 and 5 says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." It is no coincidence that Paul lists the belt of truth as the first weapon. Therefore, stand, have the belt of truth buckled around your waist. Why, of all things, a belt? In ancient times, the belt played a crucial role in the effectiveness of a soldier's armor. It was the belt that held a scabbard without which there would be nowhere to place the sword. Try to picture an overzealous soldier, fired up and charging into the battle without his belt, and consequently without a weapon. Practically applied to us today, God's truth should cleave to us as a belt cleaves to our body. Our trust in God and His Word must be firm and solid. Otherwise, we will quickly find ourselves gullible, not knowing what is biblically right. No matter how effective the rest of our armor is, we are defenseless without the sword. We need to know what and why we believe by rightly dividing the word of truth. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15. As Christians, we are to test all things and hold on only to that which is good, the truth, discarding all else. We are to be like the Bereans who searched the scriptures daily, whether those things were so. Acts 17, verse 11. His promises, His commands, His word, they are all truth, plain and simple. After all, Isaiah chapter 14 verse 27 says, "For the Lord of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back?" If God says something, there is no force that can stop Him from doing. Let us close today's Sunday Whisper with this quote from Blaise Pascal, and it says, "Truth is so obscure in these times, and falsehood so established, that unless we love the truth, we cannot know it." Thank you for joining us this Sunday. We hope you have found wisdom and inspiration in today's episode of Sunday Whispers. Until then, have a blessed Sunday.